In this video, I am going to determine whether two given functions, one is the square root of x, another is the absolute value function, whether they are one-to-one or not. Let me start off with by saying what does it mean for a function to be one-to-one. A function is one-to-one if for two different x values you get two different y values. That's the standard definition of a one-to-one function. Once again, if you have two different x values in the domain, that will map to two different y values in the range. That's what the definition. There is an equivalent definition, which is for each unique x value there will be a unique y value. By the way, it's the same thing as saying two different x values leads to two different y values. And now let me start off with the first function, which is y is equal to f of x is equal to square root of x. Square root of x function is a very useful and pretty well-known function. This could be sketched like this. It's an increasing function. That means it never decreases. It's an increasing function. So if you take two different x values, let's say this is x is equal to 1 and this is x is equal to 3. So for x is equal to 1, your value, y value is going to be square root of 1, which is 1. For x is equal to 3, your y value is going to be square root of 3, which is this. So I have two different x values, I have two different y values. Don't think that these 1 and 3 are some fixed numbers. I randomly picked 1 and 3. I could have picked two other different numbers. It doesn't matter. I picked something easy for you to see. That's what it is. Okay? So from the graph, it's kind of from the sketch of the function, it can be seen that the function is one-to-one, because it's an increasing function. And also I just mentioned it to you that if I take any two different x values, I'll get two different y values, because square root of x, which is if the numbers are different, x values are different, then the square root of those numbers are going to be different. Now let's go ahead and talk about the second function. So this is, by the way, one-to-one. Okay, this is a one-to-one function. However, the second one is y is equal to g of x, which is absolute value of x minus 5. Now let me just sketch the absolute value of x function, by the way. Just absolute value of x. This is y is equal to absolute value of x. Okay, that's what it is. It's a v-shaped function. Now what does absolute value of x minus 5 does? It does the following. It takes this original function and shifts it 5 units to the right. So see this tip here is at 0, 0. Now x minus 5 absolute value is going to take this point and move it right here. So I'm going to have a new function exactly like the original one, like this. But for this one, it doesn't matter. If you take two different values, you'll get the same x values. So it's not going to be one-to-one. So let me just give you an example with some numbers. Let's consider two easy numbers. Let's say x is equal to 0. So what is my g of 0 going to be? Is going to be 0 minus 5 absolute value, which is absolute value of negative 5, which by the way is 5. What about if I pick x is equal to 10? Then g of 10 is going to be absolute value of 10 minus 5, which is absolute value of 5, which is 5, by the way. So I have two different x values, however I have the same y values. So this function is not one-to-one. So let me summarize what I talked about in this video. What I have done is this. I have shown how to determine whether a given function is one-to-one or not. The rule for such determination is this. If you have two different x values in the domain, it will give you two different y values in the range. That's what it means for a function to be one-to-one. On the other hand, if you can find just one example for a function where for two different values of the x, you get the same value of y, for two different values of the x in the domain, you get the same y value, then the function is not one-to-one. This function, square root of x function, is one-to-one, whereas the absolute value of x minus 5 is not a one-to-one function. I hope that this discussion was helpful. Thank you very much.